realized that wasn't going to happen.
Eric wouldn't talk. He's an attorney. It's no surprise he wouldn't talk to police.
But while Eric wouldn't talk, detectives hoped that there was still one person who might be able to help shed some light on his involvement in the crimes. Eric's wife, 46-year-old Kim Williams.
They weren't sure what Kim would know, but at this point, she's their lifeline for this case.
On April 16th, detectives brought Kim in for questioning. It was clear that the one-time known Guam bombshell had changed in the months since her husband's fall from grace.
Kim's looks have really gone downhill. She looked stressed, she looked unhealthy, she looked like someone who never left the house.
At first, Kim insisted that her husband couldn't be involved in the murders, and reminded the detectives of Eric's arm surgery that had earlier led them to drop him as a suspect in Mark Hassey's killing. But detectives were convinced she was hiding something, and threatened her with criminal charges if she didn't come clean. The added pressure worked, and Kim ended up opening up about much more than they expected.
After a fairly short period of time, she starts to talk, and she talks a lot.
Kim conceded that the theft conviction against her husband the previous year had devastated them both. And in the months since losing his job and political office, Eric had come to personally blame Mark Hassey and Mike McClelland for spearheading what he viewed as a witch hunt against him.
These people had come out and basically had destroyed their family's ability to make a living and survive in the world.
For months, Kim and Eric holed up inside their home and stewed in their anger. But as 2012 came to an end, Kim told detectives Eric finally began planning for the future. But his plans didn't involve embarking on a new career. They involved getting even. And to do so, Kim claimed that Eric came up with an assassination hit list.
Eric Williams moved Mark Hassey to the top of the list, and then Mike McClelland.
Planned out the murder and knew exactly what he was going to do.
And by the morning of January 31st, Eric was ready to take out the first name on his list, 57-year-old Mark Hassey. Only he wasn't going alone. Kim was going to be his accomplice.
She was the getaway driver.
I really was shocked. It was like, my goodness, a husband and wife team. Wow.
Kim said she drove the couple's car with Eric in the passenger seat, dressed in black. Eric directed Kim to the employee parking lot, where they waited for Mark to arrive. Then, just after 8:30, Mark pulled in and parked a few spots away.
Eric stepped out of the vehicle, and as Mark passed, Eric kind of caught up to him.
Kim told police that she looked away, although what happened next was clear.
He confronted him and pulled a gun and began shooting.
After shooting Mark and distracting witnesses by firing shots into the air, Eric rushed back to the car. In the midst of the chaos, the couple escaped unnoticed. Kim said the shooting left Eric feeling vindicated and invincible.
He was convinced he was 10 feet tall and bulletproof. He was going to get away with it.
Eric's ego was bolstered when he was able to dupe police the day of the shooting by wearing his arm in a sling and giving them a phony story about having surgery the day before. And he'd taken other steps to throw the investigation off course.
He was sending false tips to Crime Stoppers.
Eric had called the Crime Stoppers tip line, pushing the Aryan Nation theory. This turned out to be a really big red herring.
Kim told police that Eric spent the 2 months after the shooting planning how he would take out the next name on his list, 63-year-old Mike McClelland. And in the early morning hours of March 30th, he put his plan into action. It began with Kim once again driving Eric in the couple's car. But this time, Eric was dressed in a more elaborate disguise.
Eric was dressed in police attire. He wore a bulletproof vest, and it had a patch across the front that said sheriff.
Following Eric's instructions, Kim said she drove Eric to the McClelland's home. Kim waited in the car as Eric, armed with an assault rifle, knocked on the front door. Through the closed door, Eric told Cynthia he was a local police officer, and she needed to open the door because she was in danger.
He told her there was a gunman in the area.
Believing Eric was a policeman, Cynthia opened the door.